If you're still doing audio-only podcasts in 2025, you're leaving 80% of your potential audience on the table. Have you noticed how almost every major podcast has shifted to video in the last 2 years? This isn't just a trend, it's a complete transformation of the medium itself. And if you're not on board, you're getting left behind. By the end of this video, you'll discover why video podcasting is no longer optional for coaches and consultants who want to maximize their reach and impact. I'll show you exactly what you're missing by sticking to audio only and how easy it actually is to make the switch to video, even on a tight budget. Let me hit you with some truth that might sting a little. If you're still doing audio only podcasts, you're basically showing up to a gunfight with a butter knife. We live in a world where people want to see you. They want to see your facial expressions, your reactions, the little quirks that make you. They're craving that visual connection, and audio alone simply can't deliver it. The numbers don't lie. YouTube now ranks as the preferred platform for listening to podcasts, according to 33% of monthly podcast listeners in the US, followed by Spotify at 24% and Apple Podcast at just 12%. In my own podcast, I get 80% of my audience from YouTube compared to all other platforms combined. This shift isn't just about preference, it's about discovery and growth potential. Audio-only podcasts are severely limited in how they can be found and shared. Imagine multiplying your podcast audience by 3 to 5 times in the next 6 months. Picture your ideal clients discovering you through YouTube search recommendations, even when they weren't specifically looking for a podcast. Visualize having a library of video clips that continue working for you 24/7, bringing in new listeners while you sleep. The right format doesn't just expand your reach, it transforms the relationship you build with your audience. When listeners can see you, trust develops faster, connection deepens, and the path from podcast fan to paying client becomes much shorter. But I know what you're thinking. I don't have professional video equipment, or maybe I don't look good on camera. Perhaps you believe my content works fine in audio-only format. These are exactly the limiting beliefs that keep coaches and consultants stuck with smaller audiences and less impact than they deserve. When I first considered adding video to my podcast, I was paralyzed by the same fears. I spent weeks researching expensive cameras, lighting setups, and video editing software. I worried about how I looked on camera and whether my office was presentable enough. But after launching with just basic equipment, I was shocked to discover that my audience grew faster in 3 months with video than it had in a year with audio only. The connection was deeper, the engagement was higher, and the conversion to clients was dramatically improved. My only regret was not making the switch sooner. I had been leaving growth and opportunities on the table for far too long. Choose video and you tap into the world's second largest search engine with 2.7 billion monthly active users. Choose audio only and you're invisible to that massive audience. The choice you make today will determine whether your podcast becomes a powerful growth engine for your coaching business or remains a hobby project with limited reach. This isn't just about staying current with trends. It's about positioning yourself where your ideal clients are actually looking for content. First aspect, why audio alone isn't enough anymore. This is absolutely crucial. The podcast landscape has fundamentally changed. What worked 3 years ago simply doesn't cut it today. Look at this carefully. Go check your favorite podcasters right now. How many are still audio only? That's not a coincidence. They've all recognized the shift in consumption habits. I want you to realize that by keeping your podcast audio only, you're missing out on YouTube's massive search potential, limiting your content's shareability, reducing your connection with listeners, making it harder to repurpose your content. With video, one podcast episode becomes a content goldmine. You can create short clips for TikTok and Instagram, highlight reels for LinkedIn, audiograms with captions, thumbnail images with powerful quotes. The truth is that coaches with video podcasts report converting listeners to clients at 2 to 3 times the rate of audio-only podcasters. Why? Because the trust factor is dramatically higher when people can see your expressions, gestures, and authentic reactions. Second aspect, the YouTube opportunity where the viewers are. This is going to blow your mind. YouTube isn't just a video platform, it's the world's second largest search engine. Think about that reach. Let me throw some mind-blowing numbers at you. 2.7 billion monthly active users on YouTube, 694,000 hours of video content watched every minute. The average person spends 77 minutes per day on YouTube. What examples come to mind as you hear this? Think about Joe Rogan, who built a podcast empire largely through YouTube, or Lewis Howes, whose School of Greatness podcast exploded once he added video. These aren't outliers. They're smart content creators who recognized where the audience was going. Listen closely to what I'm about to share. Those who've made the switch from audio only to video podcasts typically see their audience grow 3 to 5 times faster. In my own experience, my podcast audience quadrupled within 6 months of adding video. YouTube doesn't just cater to searches, it promotes recommended content, meaning that once you hook a viewer, YouTube's algorithm will likely send more people your way. This creates a snowball effect that audio-only platforms simply can't match. Third aspect, the power of visual connection. Now, this is where you want to pay attention. People connect with faces, with expressions, with gestures. Audio is intimate, but video, that's personal. When they can see you, it builds trust and familiarity faster than a voice alone ever could. They pick up on the nuances, the between the lines that audio can't capture. Have you ever noticed how a simple story, a single laugh, or a raised eyebrow can captivate an audience? That's what keeps people coming back. They don't just want the information, they want the experience of watching you deliver it. We're hardwired to connect with human faces. It's why video content consistently outperforms audio-only content in engagement metrics across all platforms. For coaches and consultants, this visual connection is particularly powerful. Your potential clients aren't just evaluating your information, they're evaluating you as someone they might work with closely. Video gives them a much more complete picture of who you are and how you communicate. Fourth aspect, the "but I don't have good video" excuse. Stop it. Just stop. You literally have a 4K camera in your pocket right now. Your phone plus ring light, $20, plus phone mount, $15, plus basic lavalier mic, $25. That's less than $60, less than a night out at a mediocre restaurant. Viewers care far more about your content and your authenticity than they do about Hollywood-level production. A simple, well-lit setup with clear audio will outperform fancy equipment with boring content every single time. You don't need to invest thousands in equipment to start. Begin with what you have, reinvest as you grow, and focus on delivering value. The content is what matters most. Look, the data and trends are screaming one thing. Podcasts aren't just for ears anymore, they're for eyes too. Sticking to audio only in today's content ecosystem is like sending postcards in the age of social media. You're losing potential viewers and limiting your growth potential. Here's the bottom line. If you're serious about growing your podcast and using it to attract coaching clients, embrace video. Because in today's world, if you're only being heard and not seen, you're barely scratching the surface of what's possible. If you want to master video podcasting and transform your reach with minimal equipment, check out my podcast academy by clicking the link in the first comment. Inside the academy, you'll get my video podcasting quick start guide with exact camera settings, lighting arrangements, and background setups that make you look professional even using just your smartphone. I'll share my thumbnail formula that increased my click-through rates by 243%, all taught through concise, actionable lessons with downloadable templates you can implement immediately, plus bi-weekly coaching calls where I review your video setup and provide personalized feedback to accelerate your growth. Let me know in the comments if you're currently doing audio only or video podcasting and what's holding you back from making the switch if you haven't already. And if you found this video helpful, you absolutely need to watch my video on in-person versus virtual podcasting. Once you've decided to add video to your podcast, you'll need to decide whether to record in person or virtually with your guests. That video will help you make this crucial decision based on your specific goals, resources, and the type of connection you want to build with your audience.